All right, so, and there was something brand new right at the very beginning that we need to talk about, and I want to make sure you understand that this is a very easy question, but it's also very, very, very simple to miss points when we take a test over this stuff in a few weeks or so. So on exercise 2.2, now we want rough graphs, but I do want you to, they got to be a little bit, not quite as rough as what I've been accepting, okay? What I mean is this, we're going to do a little bit of calculating when we do these graphs, okay? So on number 3, on 2-2, they give us f of x equals, and again, the benefit of this chapter compared to the last chapter is we're only dealing with quadratics. That's all we're dealing with are quadratic equations, okay? Quadratic functions. So we have f of x equals x minus 3 squared, okay? We're going to graph this thing. Actually, before we graph it, I'm going to name the vertex. They're going to ask us, if you look at the assignment, it says, identify the graph, tell me the vertex, and then there's one other thing we have to talk about. So the vertex should be pretty easy. It's normally 0, 0, but this minus 3 moves it 3 to the right. So it's not 0, 0, and be careful, it's not 0, 3, it's 3, 0. I mean, if you go 3 to the right, 1, 2, 3, it's that point right there. The vertex is 3, 0. Now, here's what I mean about making a little bit better graphs, okay? Normally, I've just been saying, just draw a graph, okay? Just draw a U-shaped parabola, that's all you got to do. We got to do a little better than that, though, okay? So, and I'm going to tell you right now, on your assignment, if you were looking at your assignment right now, it's multiple choice. You can look at it and say, oh, it's obviously this graph, and click on it. You could do that, and there's nothing going to stop you from doing that, okay? But on your next test that you take in a few weeks, it's going to say graph this, okay? And it's not going to be multiple choice. So here's how I want you to graph it. We're going to make a little XY table, and I want 5 points graphed. I'm going to just lay that on my desk. Thanks. Okay, so we already have 1 point. We have the point 3, 0. Now we can plug in whatever we want for x, whatever we want, okay? But we're going to pick easy values. Now, listen carefully here, okay? We're definitely going to plug in 2, okay? And I'm trying to make this as easy as I can for you, okay? We're going to plug in 2, so listen carefully. Any guesses what else I'm going to plug in?
1.
I will eventually plug in 1, but not yet. I'm going to plug in 2, and then I'm going to plug in, anybody else have a guess?
4.
Who said 4? Why? No? That's what I'm going to plug in, 2 and 4.
Closest to.
Well, I'm at 3. I'm going to plug in 2 and 4. You know why? 4 words. 1 left, 1 right. I'm picking 1 to the left and 1 to the right. Okay? Now, what's nice is parabolas are symmetrical. And what I mean is this. When I plug in a value for 2 and get an answer, you know what I'm going to get for 4? The same answer. I'm going to get the same answer, okay? So if I plug in 2, 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Negative 1 squared is 1. Now, if you really want to, plug in 4. You can. 4 minus 3 is 1. Squared is still 1. It's symmetrical. It's going to be the same. If it's not, your calculations are messed up, okay? Now we're going to plug in. We plugged in 2 and 4. And I guess we're going to plug in, now you said 1. I'm going to plug in 1. 1 and what? 1 and 5. Why? If you're at 3, 1 and 5 are 2 right and 2 left. Okay? So if I'm going to plug in, let's plug in 1. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. Negative 2 squared is 4. You know what 5 is? Also 4. If you want to, you can plug it in if you want. 5 minus 3 is 2. Squared is 4. Okay, I want 5 points. We've got 5 points. And we already had 1, 3, 0. So, we have 2, 1. So over 2 up 1. 4, 1. Over 4 up 1. 1, 4. Over 1 up 4. 5, 4. Over 5 up 4. These are right across from each other. Is that a coincidence, you think? That this is right across from that and that's right across from that? That's not a coincidence. They're supposed to be, okay? Mine's off a little bit because my drawing's no good, okay? Because they're symmetrical. So here's what our graph looks like, okay? Again, I already said this once, I'm going to say it again. Could you, when you're doing these on your own, just look at the graph and be able to tell what it looks like? Sure. If you look at the 4 graphs, there's only one of them that looks even close to that. So do you have to do all these points? No, not on your assignment. You don't have to. On your test, you have to. Okay, so you may as well practice it that way, okay? Now, there's one more thing. This is the easy thing, but it's also very, very, very simple to mess up. And I'm going to tell you now, if you miss it on a test, you miss 1 point. Big deal. 1 point, but you know, points add up. It's like in basketball. You miss a free throw. I mean, are you going to lose a game if you miss 1 free throw? Most of the time, no, but I mean, you got to make your free throws. Those are the easy shots. You got to make, even though they're worth 1 point, you got to make those, okay? So, they also ask us something about the axis of symmetry. Okay, we've not talked about that yet. Okay, the axis of symmetry. What the heck is the axis of symmetry? The axis of symmetry is where you could fold the parabola and have it be able to fold right on top, so like a butterfly. The axis of symmetry of a butterfly would be its body, the body part of it. The wings could flap right on top of itself, okay? So, the axis of symmetry would be right there. If this was drawn nice, instead of sloppy like me, this side and this side would fold right on top of each other. This right here is the axis of symmetry. Now, you might be going, well, that's not bad. You just split it in half. Yep. But they ask us to name the axis of symmetry, okay? The axis of symmetry, I'm going to say this very slowly, is a line. It is a line, okay? And it is a vertical line. It's a vertical line, okay? Let's put this on hold for a second here. If we go back to the last chapter, if I asked you to graph y equals 4, remember that would go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and draw a horizontal line. Remember that was a constant graph. Y equals -3, down 3, draw a line through, okay? So, horizontal lines are of the form y equals a number. This is a vertical line. Any guesses on what this is going to be called? Not y equals a number, x equals a number. And what does x equal? Well, we're through the point 3. X equals 3. Listen carefully. The axis of symmetry is x equals 3. There's a very, very simple way of doing this once we know our vertex here. Some of you are going to figure it out here real quick after we do another problem or two, okay? You don't need to draw the axis of symmetry, okay? The axis of symmetry is simply the line x equals 3. That's it. X equals 3, okay? Let's look at the next one. Let's look at question number 5. Let's get rid of this. Now, here's the deal. I'm really hoping some of you will cooperate here. I might, quote unquote, yell at one of you in a minute, and that's really okay. I'm hoping I can yell at one of you in a minute, okay? And you're not in trouble if I'm going to do that to highlight a point, okay? And by me yelling at one of you, and it's okay, I like all of you except for Garrett, okay? It's just so that everybody else will remember what we're about ready to teach you here, okay? Now in this one we have x plus 3 squared, f of x equals x plus 3 squared plus 5. Plus 5. Okay, so we should be able to name the vertex right now. The vertex, well, that plus 3 moves it 3 to the left. Remember, it's always the opposite. And that plus 5 moves it up 5. Okay? I think I said this to you guys. I know I said it to one of the 2 classes. If it's in this form, it's always the opposite of this number. That says plus 3. Put the opposite, minus 3. And then the same number here. Opposite, same. Okay? So vertex is -3, 5. So we're going to go 3 left and up 5. Put our down. There's our vertex. Okay? Now we're going to make a little T-chart. And I'm going to plug in, we already have -3, and we have 5. What 2 points do you think I'm going to plug in next? We're at -3. What do you think I'm going to plug? I can plug in whatever. Why? Or 1 right, 1 left. -2, -4. Now, I don't know what we get when I plug in -2, and I don't know what we get when we plug in -4. But I know they're going to be the same. Whatever they are, they're going to be the same. Let's plug in -2. -2 plus 3 is 1. 1 squared is still 1 plus 5. 6. What's -4?
6.
Also 6. If you want to go ahead and plug it in, go ahead. I don't care. I'm just going to say it's 6. I know it's 6. Okay? We plugged in -2 and -4. Now what? Any guesses? We plugged in -2 and -4. -5 and? Not -5, -6.
-1.
Why?
Because it's 2 to the
2 right, 2 left. -1, -5. I don't know what we're going to get when we plug in -1 or -5, but they're going to be the same. Whatever they are, they're going to be the same. Let's plug in -1. -1 plus 3 is 2. 2 squared is 4. 4 plus 5 is 9. -5 is also 9. Oh, I got to go up a little bit here. 6, 7, 8, 9. So -2, 6. We go, let's see, 1, 2, -2 up to +6, -4 up to +6. These should always be across from each other. Okay? -1 is up here at 9. -5 is up here at 9. Okay. We're almost done with this one. We plotted our points, we connect them. The axis of symmetry is right there. Axis of symmetry. What is the axis of symmetry? What's that? No, not -3. This is me yelling at you, okay? She's not in trouble. I'm so glad she said -3, okay? You got to be careful. And I'm not making fun here. I'm not making fun at all. I'm doing this for a reason so that hopefully nobody's going to miss this on a test. It is not -3, okay? The axis of symmetry is a line. It's a line. Thank you. -3 is not a line. Don't think hard on this. What's -3?
-3.
And what is that? It's just what? It's just a number, okay? It's just a number, a line. What'd you say the answer is again? X equals -3. So,
You only put 3
what's that?
in the graphs. Do you only use 3 points?
No, I did 5.
just
It was
go through.
it was there and there. They got swallowed up a little bit. Okay? So, what's the first, if I ask you for the axis of symmetry, the first 2 words out of your mouth better be what? X equals. It's got to be X equals something, okay? Now, I'm just curious, does anybody think they know how to find the axis of symmetry the really, really, really quick way if I know the vertex?
Use the original.
If I tell you the vertex is 7, 3, what's the axis of symmetry?
7. X equals 7.
Good. I almost yelled at you. You caught yourself. It's not 7. It's X equals 7. And why is it X equals 7? Because X is 7. X is 7. If the vertex is -8, 3, the axis of symmetry is X equals -8. That's all you got to do. X equals -8. And I don't want to do it, but I mean, on your test, you got to say, if I ask you X is symmetry, you got to say X equals whatever. It's got to be X equals. Okay? All right. Let's try another one. Thank you for missing that. You did that on purpose, too. You knew the right answer. You just did that because that's what I wanted you to say.
I actually wrote down X equals -8.
See, there you go. Okay, so I knew you knew it. So that's me yelling. Okay. My kids would disagree about me. I yell differently at them.
Have you ever had to yell at a kid here? Like,
Oh.
actually yell at one?
Yeah,
Like, have you gone to Miss Neal?
I'm a very patient person. So if I yell at you, you went way too far. So all right, number 7. -4.
Oh, she blew up on him.
Cassim.
Miss Neal blew up
I've
on him.
never seen Miss Neal yell like that.
X minus 2 squared plus 4. Okay. This one, we may not plot all the points. I have a feeling this one's, it's not any more difficult. We're still going to make our t-chart. Okay, so we're not even going to graph this thing yet. What is our vertex? 2? 4. And again, I only said this once today. I want to make sure people can figure this thing out. I mean, in 2 words. How do we get 2, 4? Listen, now if you're sitting there going, how do we get 2, 4? Listen carefully. We're going to explain it in 2 words. How do we get 2, 4? What's the first word I want to hear? Where'd 2 come from?
X minus.
Well, that's not 2. That's just -2.
Well, there's a new positive.
Opposite. Where'd 4 come from? Opposite again?
No.
Yeah. This is opposite. This is the what? Same. Opposite, same. Opposite, same. That's an easy way to remember. Opposite, same. You guys know what AOS is? Axis of symmetry. I'm lazy. What's the axis of symmetry? 2?
X equals 10.
Thank you. X equals 2. How come it's not x equals 7? Because x isn't 7. X is 2. Okay? All right. Now we got to graph this thing. X, y. We're going to plug in 2. Then what?
4, 1, and 3.
Oh, you already.
1 and
had
3.
before.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
I didn't.
I know what you're saying.
I heard you.
4 is the y value for 2.
Yeah.
And again, y 1 and 3. 1 right, 1 left. What else?
4.
4 and what? Not negative 1. 0.
0.
0 and 4. Because we're starting at 2. 2 right and 2 left. Okay? So, we're going to take this kind of slow here. Now, again, it doesn't matter if I plug in 1 or 3. But, which one do you think? I mean, look back up here. What would you rather plug in, 1 or 3? Really? You might say 1 because it's small. I would have picked 3, though. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Do you guys like negatives better than positives? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to pick 3. Otherwise, if I plug in 1, we're going to get a negative, and that's all right. But if I plug in 3, 3 minus 2 is 1. Order of operations, do we times next or do powers next? Powers. What's 1 squared? Don't say 2. 1. It's still 1. Then what do I do with that 1? Ooh, not yet. We still have times by negative 4. Don't we times before we add? Do we always times before we add? Yes, we do. We always multiply before we add.
So
Okay.
0.
Oh, slow down. 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. Plus 4 is?
0.
What's 3? Actually, it was 1. I plugged in 3. They're both 0. If you don't believe me, plug it in. It's going to work. Okay? Okay? Let's plug in. We can plug in 0 or 4. It doesn't matter. Which one do you guys want to plug in?
0.
I would normally say 0, but you're going to have a negative. What the heck? We'll do it. It doesn't matter. If I plug in 0, 0 minus 2 is negative 2. Then what do I do with negative 2? Square it and get positive 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. We all done?
No.
Negative 16 plus 4. We're not going to plot that one. It's not that it's hard to plot. It's just going to take up half your paper. Okay, we have to go all the way down to negative 12. We'll just plot the first 3. Okay? All right, so we got to go 2, 4 is over 2 and up 4. 1, 0, be careful. That's 1 right and then stay right there. And 3, 0 is 3 to the right and stay right there. What the heck? Is that a triangle? I mean, is that right? I mean, we're supposed to draw a parabola. Does that, those dots look okay?
Yes.
What's this negative do? Flips it upside down. That got kind of skinny. Should it have? Yep, it's 4's bigger than 1. We knew that back in the last chapter, okay? All right, number 9. Okay. Okay, so negative 2, x minus 1 squared. Who's asking me that? Oh, no, mine doesn't work real well. Don't you go to Bain's room and?
It's alright, it's still working.
Okay. Yeah, I need to get a new pencil sharpener because mine doesn't work well at all. Mine's 5.
Oh.
Do you have it?
What a nice guy. Okay, so our vertex here is 1, negative 5. Opposite of minus 1 is 1, and then you take negative 5, that number. The axis of symmetry, x equals 1. Okay? Oh, shoot, let's make a t-shirt. X, Y. Okay, so we're at 1, negative 5. And if we're at 1, okay, let me just think of a number line. If you're at 1, you go 1 right and 1 left, you're at where and where?
2 and
Not 2 and 3.
2 and 0.
2 and 0. And then if you're going to go 1 more right and 1 more left, you're going to be at
Negative 1.
negative 1 and positive 3. Okay? I'm going to plug in, it doesn't matter, 2 or 0, it doesn't matter. I'm going to plug in 2. Okay, 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 squared is still 1. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2.
Minus.
Minus 5 more is negative 7. 0 is also negative 7. Because they're symmetrical. Now, students sometimes will ask, well, what if it's not symmetrical? Then it's not a parabola. Parabolas have to be symmetrical. Okay? Okay, so let's plug in. We have negative 1 and 3. I'm going to plug in 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 squared is 4. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. Negative 8 minus 5 is negative 13. I'm not going to plot those. Again, it's not hard to plot those. It's just you have to draw 13 hash marks down. And I don't want you to waste paper. I'm such an environmentalist. Okay. Got to go down 7, though. So 1 negative 5 is 1 to the right, and down 2, 3, 4, 5. 0 negative 7 is down here, and 1 negative 7 is right there. That one doesn't look quite as skinny as the last one. Is that okay? Should it have been as skinny as the last one?
No,
Why?
because it's only 2 enough.
Yeah, 4 is bigger than 2. It should have been skinnier over here. Okay, let's try to get 4 more, then we'll call it a day. Now, I will tell you this. I'm hoping that you guys are sitting there going, I really hope you guys are sitting there going, man, it seems like we're doing the same problem over and over and over. We basically are. Okay? That's good if you think it's the same problem, because it is, basically. And if you're sitting there going, I thought you said this section is a little bit more difficult. It's going to get tougher starting tomorrow. Okay? So we have negative 1/4. X plus 2 plus 1. Okay, so this time our vertex is negative 2.
It's going to get mega chunky.
That's right, why?
Because it's going to shrink.
Why?
Because 1/4 is smaller than 1.
Good answers. Okay, X is a symmetry, X is negative 2. Okay, and I will tell you this, and it's really okay. After this section, we're not going to talk about X as symmetry at all the rest of the chapter, I don't think. Is it going to be on our next test that we take in about 2 or 3 weeks? Yes, it is. Okay, and when we review, I'm going to say X is symmetry. Mark my words, I'm going to say X is symmetry. You guys are like, oh, I forgot. I remember that, but I forgot. It's like that's why we review for tests. Okay, in case you forget stuff, because it's not something that we talk about a whole lot in this class. So let's make up negative 2, 1. If you're at negative 2, we're going to plug in negative 1 and negative 3. They're one right and 1 left. And 2 right and 2 left from negative 2 are 0 and negative 4.
Mr. J,
Mm-hmm.
I don't really get the T-chart thing. Like, how do you know what numbers to put in and like what
Well,
to put on the other side?
We always plug in the vertex, okay? And then just think about a number line. You're at negative 2, okay? Forget about the XY coordinate plane. What's 1 to the right and 1 to the left of negative 2? Negative 1.
1 and negative 3.
Okay. We're starting here at this one. What's 2 to the right?
0.
And negative 4. And that's why I got these. Negative 1 and negative 3. 0 and 4.
Okay.
Okay.
So then how do you know it goes on the other side?
That's when we plug in, like you're going to do it. You're up right now. We'll start with negative 1. Now, yeah, let's do negative 1. We plug in negative 1. Negative 1 plus 2 is 1. Then we square it. 1 squared is 1. 1 times the negative quarter. Negative quarter. What's a negative quarter in a dollar? What's a dollar and you spend a quarter?
75.
75 cents. You know what negative 3 is? Same thing.
Oh, because they're the...
It's symmetrical. You're not done. You write it down in a second. Let's plug in 0. What's 0 plus 2?
0.
No, plus 2.
Oh, 2.
Squared.
4.
4. What's a fourth of 4? What's 4 split 4 ways? 1, but it's negative, so it's negative 1 plus 1.
0.
What's negative 4?
0.
Got it?
Yeah.
Perfect example right here. I'm picking on her a little bit. If you don't understand something, it's real simple. You know what you do? Raise your hand and say, I don't understand it, okay? Don't just sit there, okay? If you don't understand something, ask. Okay, So we got, how far do we have to go? Only up 1. So we have negative 2, 1, back 2, up 1. Negative 1, up 3/4. Negative 3, up 3/4. 0, 0, negative 4, 0. And like Leland said, we got some super fat graph here. And it should have been fat, because 1/4 is smaller than 1. Okay, 15, 17, yep, 3 more. 13. I'll tell you what, we'll do 2 more.
What about, oh, it's negative.
Negative 4, 0. Do you have positive 4, 0?
Yeah.
You got a funky looking graph then, didn't you? It would not have made a parabola. All right, we'll do 2 more. That'll give us 1 to review tomorrow. Y equals 0.4 something. X minus 1 squared. This is one that's not any harder than the one we just did, but sometimes it'll confuse some people. You know, here's where they'll get confused. They'll say the vertex is 1, and they'll go, well, there's nothing there. So what do you put? 0. Opposite, and then there's a 0 there. So we have 1, 0. We're at 1. We're going to plug in 2 and 0 for x. 1 to the right and 1 to the left of 1. Then 2 to the right of 1 is 3, and 2 to the left of 1 is negative 1. So, is this going to be, what's this graph going to look like? Is it going to be a skinny graph, fat graph, or what?
It's gonna be
Pretty fat. Be careful, what if I did this?
gonna be pretty skinny.
Now it'd be pretty skinny. 4 is bigger than 1. 0.4 is less than 1. It's going to be a fat graph. Okay? We plug in 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. Squared is 1. Times 0.4 is 0.4. 0 is also 0.4. I'm going to plug in 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 squared is 4. 4 times 0.4 is 1.6. Oh, what was the axis of symmetry? No, not 1. X equals 1.
Luke's getting.
I'm going to call people on that every time, too. Okay? Did you say 1?
I did
You did it again? Well, I'm going to yell at you. I can do it twice. Okay? But I'm going to yell at you because if you put down 1 right now, you don't miss any points. But you do it on a test, I take a point off. And I don't want to take points off. Okay, so we have, why am I making the t-chart? We already did that.
Whoa.
Okay. What do we gotta go to? 1, 0 is 1 to the right. 2.4 over 2 and up, not quite halfway. 0.4. 3, 1.6, a little more than 1.5, and negative 1, 1.6. Okay. One more problem. That's 15, 13, 15.
We're getting 2 bags.
Last one for today, 15. 2x minus 3 plus 1. 2x minus 3 plus 1, is that what I said? Yep. Okay. So I'm going to shut my mouth here for about 2 minutes. Go ahead and try it. Okay? I'm going to give you the answer in a few minutes, but give it your, if you can do this on your own, you've got this section down so far. Keep working. I'm going to slowly put the answer on the board here, but only look up if you have to. Okay? Do what you can. If you get stuck, look up here. Okay,